Hey guys, this is Hadley Hammer, or I am Hadley Hammer. I'm a big mountain ski mountaineer. I grew up in Jackson, Wyoming, and right now I'm living in Austria, skiing in the Alps. I grew up with a really adventurous family. We always were outside. I have two brothers that were always pushing me to jump off roofs and climb trees and breaking a lot of bones. But for me, I always felt like I was a lot stronger in school and in jobs. And sort of my comfort zone is hiding behind a book or getting lost in a book. And I was really sporty because that's what we did in Jackson, in a mountain town. But I certainly spent more time warming the bench of a soccer field than actually playing, and like to try a lot of different things. And then I went to college and got a job in Washington, D.C. and worked in the city for 2 years and really didn't like it that much, but it took me a while to figure out. So I moved home, and when I was home, I started to enter a big mountain competition, and I got last place, but I loved it, and it felt so much like something that I could get better at and was more challenging than the jobs that I was doing. And so I kind of put everything in my life towards becoming that skier. And what was interesting though is when I first started competing, a lot of the people around me were really loud, and they're all my friends now, which is awesome, but they were definitely, I never felt like I was one of them. I'm pretty quiet. I get really nervous in big groups of people and at parties and stuff. So I at first wondered if I can be a skier, because I don't look like a normal skier. I'm small and short and my muscles aren't huge, and I'm also not really outgoing or funny. And yeah, that really made me feel like maybe this wasn't possible for me just because of how I looked and how I was. But then once I started competing, I realized that everyone there was so friendly, and the skiing community and the mountain community really has such open arms and so much support for one another, and that I could take my personality traits and actually use them as strengths. Like my quietness works well in the mountains and staying calm in dangerous situations, or if I can last a month in a tent just reading a book and being happy if there's really bad weather, that's better than going stir crazy on an expedition. I think another really interesting thing that I've been learning is when we come back from these adventures, it's all about how we tell the story. And I realized that so much of being a human is telling stories, but that we can also tell ourselves stories that are different. And while I may be quiet and shy and get a little nervous, it doesn't mean that I'm stuck to be that way. And sometimes I try to just experiment with being a little bit more social, or try to introduce myself to people, or go to crowded places, and realizing that maybe I've always been telling myself this story that I'm quiet and shy, but really maybe I'm funny and loud, and that you can kind of have to think about who you really are and what makes you feel really good. And it's doesn't always have to reflect how you look or how you appear to other people, but just to always make sure that you follow your gut. And if you feel like in your stomach that being around people makes you feel good, or being funny makes you feel good, keep doing that. And yeah, and I think the best part about being in the mountains is they don't judge you at all. And so you can be totally yourself there. So if you ever feel like you need to figure out who you are, or you just want to be happy with who you are, I think the mountains is a really great place to go and do that. And I'm really thankful for the life that I have now, that I didn't follow the path of what I assumed I should do just because I was good at it, and did something that I wasn't so good at to start and became better at and am really happy at with now. And yeah, don't forget about that.